What's up, y'all? It's Lone Wolf tonight. So I decided to do one more video for my ministry tonight, okay? And I recorded one just a bit ago, but I'm kind of editing it and trying to see what I'm gonna do with it because it's a really weird one. But I wanted to do a season episode outside my Jeep in this place to basically hold on. I got my sweetie pie hanging with me here. She's asking for wet food. So okay, anyways, right now I wanted to talk about rock bottom, okay? And I did a video on this in season 1. I want to do a video on it in season 2. I'm kind of in a more open area where I can speak and think. Having open space around me helps me to articulate myself a little better. When I'm cramped in the Jeep like that, it's deep thoughts, but I'm kind of in this small space. So rock bottom, okay? When people hit rock bottom in life, sometimes it's because somebody betrayed them. Sometimes it's because of their own foolishness, okay? And that is a very hard thing to stomach. It was hard for me to stomach. It happened for me in both ways. I was a fool, but I also got duped by a lot of people. So it almost felt like people orchestrated my downfall or were trying to slam me down, and I hit rock bottom, okay? So I've noticed some people that have hit rock bottom that they stay there, okay? And they stay there because they don't get wisdom. They stay foolish. They stay in their habits. They don't seek the word of God. They don't seek wisdom, and they end up on bottom and they stay there, okay? And you need to understand something about rock bottom, okay? You should treat rock bottom like you're in the fourth quarter of the finals, and it's 4th and 1, and you're on your own goal line. That's how you should treat rock bottom. That you should take it extremely seriously. Some people will hit rock bottom and say, screw it, I'm not doing anything with my life, I'm just going to sit here. And it's like, you basically just need the ball and lost the game. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is, okay? Like, you have no time left in the fourth quarter. This is how your mindset needs to be, where you need to sit there and go, I need to at least make 1 yard every day, okay? Like, I need to at least be making 10 yards in 4 days type of thing. So you need to take a step towards self-improvement every day. And what I would say is, first, you need to jump into the Bible. Start with the Old Testament in some ways. I would actually start with Old Testament and New Testament and work your way down in both of them and kind of do. And when it comes to like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, I think you should read all those books in one sitting and reflect on them, okay? And that's pretty much like the whole Bible is important, okay? It's all interconnected and interlocked. And you need to dip your brain into the flames, and figure it out and go, okay, like I basically need to retool myself, okay? So you can be on rock bottom and you can be trying to throw, Hail Marys and first downs, and it's not going to work because you're not wise. You're not making wise decisions to get that first down, okay? The first down analogy that I'm using is the analogy that I used through my entire rock bottom climbing back up. I had to figure it out, okay? I was at rock bottom. I had nothing left. I had the rug swooped out from under me by a lot of people, okay? A lot of people screwed me. I screwed myself too. And it was the decisions that I made when I was at rock bottom that were not the best, okay? So a lot of things I could say is use your money wisely, okay? Why are you meowing? What are you meowing for? Use your money wisely, okay? She already had wet food today. She's tripping out on me. Use your money wisely, okay? So you want to use your money super wisely when you're on bottom. One problem that I had is I had habits on bottom, okay? I was smoking pot. I had habits, okay? I wasn't spending my money the way it should have been spent, okay? So I had very little when I was on bottom, and it was almost like I was grinding just to feed my face, which was not what I was supposed to be doing. I was supposed to be grinding to build something, okay? So everybody makes that mistake at rock bottom at least one time, okay? And sometimes you get a huge hook from the divine where you get smacked upside the back of your head, and you need to figure that out and stop doing that, or you're going to go even down far. You think rock bottom is here, like you're about to dig a hole and just dive straight down 10 more feet. Like, it's no joke, okay? So habits can be a whole lot of things. You could be smoking, you could be smoking pot, you could be smoking cigarettes, you could be drinking. Habits, like you could be out shopping. I'm gonna go buy this brand new pair of pants to make myself feel better about myself, but you don't have the wisdom in you to feel better about yourself. Just because of feeding your spirit will make you feel better about yourself, okay? So rock bottom is really tough. It's tough for people who are not in the Word if I was wise and in the word and I hit rock bottom, I would have easily shot straight up. Okay, I would have had a lot less pitfalls. Okay, so for me, I got wisdom. I ended up writing 2 books, Footprints 1 and 2, and I laid the foundation for other ones. I laid the foundation for my book on Exodus, which I'm still trying to write that book, because honestly, I've read that book over 2 times and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, I'm seeing it and I'm like, there's a whole lot more to this than I thought. Like, you get, through parts of Exodus and you're like, what's going on? Like, you have stories and then this, and you're like, hold on a second. So you got to figure it out, okay? So I'm working on Exodus right now. So I'm working on that, but I've also been reading a whole lot of the story of Jesus, okay? So the story of Jesus, I've been reflecting on a lot. I mean, taking in all of that. So the Old Testament was old wisdom to take in. It was old wisdom, but taking in the wisdom of Jesus Christ is very important. Like, once you touch Matthew like that, you're like, everything's different. Like, everything's different, bro. It's just how it is. Okay, so when you're on rock bottom, finances are important, okay? But what is most important is getting your mind right, okay? And I don't mean rolling up a joint and smoking, okay? Okay, some people do that. I did it myself. When I hit rock bottom, I'm like, I'm going to sit down and try and think things out and roll up and smoke, get my mind right, and see where I need to go. And that wasn't the way to go. It made me think about my life, but I wasn't awake to archetypes. I wasn't awake to the Word of God the way I should have been when I was going to take steps, okay? So I should have been more wise about it. If I was more wise about it, I wouldn't have been on bottom as long as I was, okay? And for me, I still consider where I'm at right now on rock bottom. I kind of am scarred by that rock bottom, and a lot of people do get scarred by that rock bottom. You hear stories about different things where people are like, oh, okay, like, what happened to me. I think I've talked to people on my podcast, my ministry, about the strawberry box thing. Here's the thing about that. When the strawberry box thing, when I took a cardboard strawberry box to a tool with tools to a job, I didn't necessarily have to go through that. I could have been wiser, and I could have not purchased this, and I could have bought a toolbox. It was an experience that I had, and it was a lesson for me too. It was a lesson, it was an experience, and it was something that I take with me. And there's other people that take things with them like that, with them forward, okay? So when you're on rock bottom, okay, rock bottom, you're gonna feel like the whole world is against you, like everything's trying to push you down, okay? Everything's trying to push you down. You're gonna feel like nobody will help you. You will feel like nobody's gonna help you. You will feel like nobody cares, okay? You might see that everybody around you just dips, where you might have been up on top for a while and everybody wanted to be around you, and then you hit rock bottom like that. Nobody wants to be around you. They want to be around the dude with the bag, okay? They want to be around the person with the bag that's feeding them. And if you're not feeding them, they don't care if you were feeding them once before, okay? So you're gonna feel a lot here, okay? So you need to understand what rock bottom really is. And I think everybody will hit rock bottom at one point in their life. Even if they don't hit, like a serious depth, they will hit a certain point in their life that they reflect at as rock bottom. And that could be the loss of their wife, husband, family member. It could be the loss of a career or a job, where they didn't necessarily bottom out and they're under a bridge, but they see that as that was their rock bottom. So you don't compare your rock bottom to other people's rock bottoms. Obviously, there's varying levels of degree to it. That's how I seen it, okay? So my level rock bottom, it could have been a whole lot worse. I could have gone through a rock bottom that was like, my rock bottom, it was pretty bad, dude. Like, I went through some spiritual things and some really, really, really bad things, but it could have been worse for me if God didn't have his hand over me during that time. God could have not had his hand over me, and I could have gone through some terrible stuff, and I didn't, because God had me in the palm of his hand with his hand over me. I'm going to sculpt you and mold you through this, and you're going to end up a better man. And that's what happened to me, is I ended up a very strong person from it. And that's one thing that I can say is the blessing from going through rock bottom, is you end up stronger. Once you come up off of rock bottom, you're coming up, you're like, I'm a lot stronger than I used to be. You almost look at yourself as you were kind of weak before, where you're like, well, who was that? Like, you don't even really know who you were. And I think there's certain people that would agree with me that you'll hit rock bottom and people don't even know exactly, I don't even know who I was back then. Like, I'm a totally different person now. It scarred the crap out of me, but I was shaped into this person. And sometimes not. Some people just come off of rock bottom and they just kind of bounce off bottom like a salmon jig, bro. Like, you're just bouncing down the honey hole and that's it. Like, coming off of rock bottom, it is it's a choice you have to make. There's a participation aspect. God will give you all the resources to do it. It's up to you to do it. It's up to you to take it into your hands. And God's already got the Bible out there, bro. Like, look how many ministers and ministries are out there, and like you can figure your way out as long as you seek. If you know, it's like when you want to find God, you need to seek and knock, okay? And a lot of people don't. They just running around kind of blind, like, what can I get my hands on to either feed my face or build something that's probably on sand, bro? Like, you could build something that's on serious concrete if you work on mind first. You get your wisdom right, like, dog, you're unstoppable. If you get your wisdom right, you get parables, you get archetypes, you put the Bible in your mind and you engrave that word on your mind where you know this and you carry it out every day, like, you are an unstoppable force, bro. Like, you are unstoppable, because your decisions are 1,000 times more accurate and better than what they would have been if you didn't. So wisdom is number one. That's one thing I did talk about in season 1, is you have to get wisdom first, okay? Your finances are a whole nother deal. Financially, I will talk about this, okay? If you are on rock bottom and you have a means to make money, even if it's just a little bit, you have no excuse. You have no excuses. There is no, I'm not going out to make that 50 bucks. Like, you're gonna go make that 50 bucks. I had to do that. I was at a rock bottom where I was hiking the ball and throwing first downs for $50, and I would throw it at the car that I had, and it would break down, dude. And I would have to go and borrow a car, go and do it again, throw a first down, throw a first down, throw a first down, got it running, and then the transmission blows up, and it's like, dog, you will go through stuff, okay? And it'll teach you things too, where you're like, okay, how am I going to handle that? Am I going to go off the rails and flip out and lose it? Or am I going to be wise and I'm going to pray to God and ask him, hey, God, I need some help right now, okay? Like, I'm going through this. What can I do? Just ask for it. Honestly, that's what I did in my walk, is I stepped back when my car broke down. I was like, God, I need some help. Like, I've got a dream, I got a vision, I got things that I know that are righteous that you would want me to do. But I need some guidance and help to do it. And he brought opportunities my way that I took advantage of because he wanted me to, okay? There was opportunities that he wanted me to capitalize on, but if I didn't pray for them, they wouldn't have come my way. There was a voluntary asking, which was the seeking and knocking and finding the wisdom and asking for the opportunity, and it would show up. And it was God responding to me saying, it's granted, as long as you keep doing what you're doing. So what did I do? I was on rock bottom when I wrote both of those books, okay? Footprints Volume 1, I was completely on rock bottom. Footprints Volume 2, I was just starting to bounce up. Like, I mean, it was almost like, oh, like, hold on a second, like, I'm floating to surface even just a couple inches off bottom. I was starting to feel it, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm still on bottom, but I have opportunities coming my way. So I'm still in fourth quarter. In my mind, I think I'll always feel like that. I think I'm always going to feel like I'm in fourth quarter, where I'm always throwing for first downs. No, I'm not throwing the sidelines, dude. We're not playing that. We're playing for yards, okay? I'm not playing for, kneeing the ball down. I'm just going to sit down and, do, like, I've got progress to make with a ministry. That's where I saw that I was throwing first downs. It wasn't bringing me wealth. I haven't sold one book. I've got both out there. I haven't sold one book. I bought 2 books, gave one to somebody and kept the other one as a first draft, and then re-edited everything and stuck both of them back out. So the thing is, for me, throwing first downs wasn't necessarily going out and like throwing for 50 bucks to put to the car. It was like, okay. And by the way, this is one thing I will tell you, is the way I came up of rock bottom was I started delivering food, okay? I was running DoorDash to get tools because I had a vision to end up, boosting up a mobile mechanic business again and coming off the bottom and doing what I'm good at, okay? I didn't even get the opportunity until after the first book was done. And I'm talking done as in the first editing stage. I didn't even have it out yet. The reason was the DoorDash application wouldn't accept my ID. And there was some weird thing with the application, the software, that it would not accept the picture of the back of my ID. So I couldn't even go out and legally like run food, do anything. Like, I was stuck, dude. Like, I was like, dog, I have no means to make. I'm selling stuff. I mean, that's pretty much it, selling stuff to make it. So I'm like, okay, so I got to get my wisdom right. God was basically showing me, like, you need to get this done. Like, you need to start your ministry. You need to do what you need to do. This is before the videos, before the channel, before any of this, okay? Before the quit smoking video, before any of this, okay? This was this was like a hard climb, bro. Like I was like in the gravel, and I don't know if it was necessarily that God was putting my face in the gravel, which it could be perceived that way. You need to learn something, learn this, learn this, learn this. But he had a purpose for my life and my ministry. He had a purpose for me talking to people, okay? And to be honest with you, there's a lot of people that live in this town right here where they don't really come up and talk to me. Like they kind of do their own thing. People don't really talk here. They just kind of walk around. You know, they see you kind of from the light and they're like, oh, kind of blinded, and they run away. It's kind of weird. Like, or they just don't talk. It's kind of, I don't know what's up with this town, okay? But I'll tell you right now, when I came up off rock bottom and I was on rock bottom, no one wanted nothing to do with me. I mean, people robbed me for money that I should have had. That was like, so these people could pay me today, and I would view it and go, I needed that a long time ago. Like, I went through all of this, bro, and like you people did this, and they're not gonna pay me. It's just how it is. People are like that. God will pay me back through other people and opportunities. I'm not worried about that. When you're on rock bottom, you're going to feel like nobody cares, okay? You're going to feel like you have nobody. And sometimes maybe that's happening for a reason, so that you see God and you're like, hey, yo, like, you're the only one listening, you're the only one here for me, is God. Jesus is the only one here for you. So you're like, okay, I've got the most powerful thing on my side. I have the most powerful being. I have the ultimate Lord of Lord, King of Kings. I have Jesus Christ on my side. Who else do you need, bro? I didn't need nobody else. Didn't need nobody else. It was for me, my walk, what happened to me. I was like, okay, like after I got the wisdom and I did the first book, that was when things started to open up. God opened up doors for me, where he was like, you can go out and work. I was out running around for $100, $200 every night, running food around town, just running, making it happen. And it was like, okay, I'm making $200, but I'm putting 40 towards gas. It was like I was just boosting my way up. I had to pay my phone bill. I had things I had to pay for. So I was climbing my way up. And right when I hit a point, I was like, okay, I'm going to create my logo. I'm going to create this. And I went for the step with the automotive business, okay? And I had to make steps towards that because I was like, I can't be running around food all the time. I'm not going to get back on my feet and come off a rock bottom throwing Taco Bell at somebody's door. It's just, it ain't going to happen, okay? So I had to do more. I had to do more. And what was I good at? Well, I had a career before, but going back to that career, it wasn't logistically feasible for me, okay? Like I had the world against me, dude, and I even tried to fight back against that at one point, where I went and fought for education credentials and trying to re-up and get back in, and I just got like snowfalled with fees and this. I was like, there ain't no way I'm coming up out of this. I went and fought for it, but I'm not going to get it. And it was mainly because of the state fees. So the state fees, they tacked on like 4 years, 3 years worth of fees that were stacked on top of it that made it impossible for me to get back into my career. I had somebody standing on my neck from a malevolent decision that they made. I had this going on, this going on. If I would have been paid for the money that was robbed from me, I would have been able to pop back in. Everything would have been cool. I would have been able to live my life the way I was. It didn't happen that way. It happened in a way where I had to fight for it, and it ain't easy, man. Like, and the thing that was hard for me was the resentment, because I already fought for what I had, and I had it ripped from me, but I also made stupid decisions throughout that time that screwed me too. And it was the financial decisions. Well, it was a mix, and the reason was because the finances weren't coming my way. I personally believe that everything happened for a reason. God put me through this, this, and this, and this. And maybe they didn't pay me because God didn't want them to pay me yet. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe not, too. Maybe God's really pissed about it. It's up to him, okay? So for me, you have to kind of like see something, okay? Like, I could go and take my camera right here and I could go videotape the back of my Jeep and show you guys, okay, I have this, and you'd be like, oh, he's got, good tools, he's got this and this. Things were not always like that. If you look at my automotive channel and you see the first video of the Jeep that I fixed, which is actually my Jeep now, you would look at that and go, oh yeah, like it seems like he had things under control, he's got good tools, got this. That was like, bruh, that was like, how many first downs did I throw before I even recorded that video? Countless, bro, countless. I mean, I would go out and work and deliver food just so I could go and buy an impact gun, just so I could go and buy this and this and this and this and this and this, and I had to scoop it together. And there was jobs that I had to work that I didn't even have the tools for it. I accepted the job and I was like, okay, I'm gonna need this, this, and this, and this. Went DoorDash, got the tools, boom, hit the job out, we're good. Okay, so now I'm up into this Jeep. I got myself a work rig, which when I first bought the Jeep was in shambles. It was leaking from transmission, engine, rear main seal was leaking, misfiring. There was a problem with the head gasket. I had problem with the valve cover gasket leaking. I had the rear diff was burnt fluid. The front diff was smoking in it. The front differential was smoking on the side of the road, dude, after I drove it away. Smoking on the side of the road. I had to get that fixed. I had to do this. Like, it took me, like, it's hard, man. It's not easy running through that. And thankfully, I had somebody that I was with that was helping me by loaning me a car to be able to go and do it. And in exchange, what was I doing? Well, you've got pretty much a brand new car, because I just basically replaced your water pump timing, you know, your oil filter housing, like all this stuff. Like, I went ham on it. So like I helped somebody out when she helped me out. So there was a boost of way up, which it wasn't easy. The details of that were not easy either. So it's like things were hard, okay? So when you're on rock bottom, you're going to have to fight for it, okay? And I think that's why a lot of people will just sit back and just kick back, and I'll just kind of just sit on bottom and just live my life there, as they don't want to try. They don't want to get the wisdom. They don't want to try. And if you don't doing that, you're throwing your whole life out the window, bro. Because you may do that, and in the afterlife, God will show you at the gates and go, you know, you could have had this life right here if you just would have done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you would have gotten wisdom and just done all this. You would have actually had this life right in front of you, and it was a potential that you had that you threw away. That's kind of how I see it. I think that's how it is. So for me, I had to capitalize. There was no way I was going to throw away 4 years of education and a 10-year career and working hard and doing what I was doing so that a bunch of people could laugh at me because they threw me down on bottom and spit on me. I wasn't going to Lone Wolf ain't going. We ain't playing that. No way. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. You best bet I'll throw first downs until I hit that freaking end zone over and over again until I make it back. So it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? It seemed like it was impossible to me. It seemed like I was looking at it where you're looking at the scoreboard and going, I'm down 2 touchdowns. I'm on the 1 yard line on my own goal line. And you're telling me I got to go there and back. I got to hit an interception and go. Like it's like impossible odds. But you see God and you go, it's possible. Anything's possible as long as I walk with God. If I have God on my side, who can be against me? And that's what I did. I went full bore, and it was almost like he was guiding my footsteps, going here, 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 here. Don't spend money on that. Here, here, here. You need to quit that habit. Right when I quit smoking cigars the first time, God blessed me with the Jeep. It was very weird. Blessed me with the Jeep. I ended up smoking again, and I went into a stagnant state where I was making money and I was grinding, but I was also spending money on my own habit, which was throwing me through the washing machine again. And God's kind of sitting there with the ruler like, come on, bro, like, wake up, like, let's go. So throw it down again. Okay, let's keep going. So things progressed for me. It got easier for me once I listened to him. So he was trying to tell me, you have to do this. Yeah, it sucks. Oh well, boo-hoo. Like, you gotta keep going, bro. Like, strengthen up, perk up your shoulders, straighten your back a bit. And it was like he was trying to teach me something. So he taught me, God taught me off of rock bottom the most important things I've ever gained in my life. And a lot of that was just the time I spent in the Word, the countless. I used to wake up in the middle of the night and just read the Bible, where I would just wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna read Matthew, like I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna read Hebrews, I'm gonna wake up, you know, I gotta read Genesis. Okay, like I just had this thing about me, okay, where I was like, I'm fighting for it, and if I'm fighting for it, I'm gonna do exactly what God says. I'm not gonna deviate from it. Like, I have to go full bore forward. Like, there is no kneeing the ball and running the clock. Like, even though I have a ton of time left in my life and I have all this, I still have to throw it. There's no knee in it. You don't hand it to the freaking running back. You're throwing it, and you're gonna throw every single open shot you get, and you'll make it. You'll make it. And I think that's where you see, like, faith will get you far. Faith without works is dead. You need to listen to God and act on your faith. Not just, I have faith in God. You need to act on that faith too. And I had tests and temptations on my way up. And there was tests and temptations that I could have taken that I watched other people that recently I had mechanics in my town that screwed people for parts and money. I could have walked up to somebody and said $1,000 for that head gasket and timing belt, and I could have turned around and taken the money and the parts, and I could have dipped. And I could have been, oh, I have $1,000, but it wouldn't have been an honest gain. It wasn't what God wanted me to do. What did I do? Okay, how much am I going to charge you? A fraction of what that costs, because I will make I'm not greedy. I'm giving you a good deal. I'm making good out of it, and first down. And a first down is a minimum of 10 yards, right? Well, maybe I threw it for 20 yards and boom, like I made some serious progress with it. It not only did that, but it gave me a good reputation. So you see, like in one of my last videos, I said all these mechanics screwed people and they did this and this and this, gave them high charging diagnostics, and then they took all their ads down and they ran. I have ads up there from a month ago, and I've been up on there for probably a year now, okay? A year, maybe even a little more. I'm pretty much approaching about a year. And I've consistently hammered them out. There's some jobs I just didn't take where it's like, I had some people that hit me up for jobs I shouldn't have taken, and one of them was a truck that was like a nightmare diagnostic, but I figured it out anyway. And that dude, he paid me, but the last job that I had, he gave me a fake money order. And that was a lesson for me, but what also happened was I got content out of it. So you can see on my automotive page I have the Nightmare Toyota job, and that was one, like there was, I think he said there was like 8 mechanics that touched that truck. There's 8 of them that touched it. There was one dude that ran the fuse box at half power and tried to get it to run, and it wouldn't run. I was the only dude that was able to jump it from the starter relay and get it to run after a fuel pump, ignition, all this, and turned out the ECU had a fried capacitor in it. And I spent like 3 days going through it, which was okay. I still got paid for it. It's not like I was out buying a bunch of parts and then, you know, getting scooped for it. He actually did pay me labor the first 2 days. The third day it was like, okay, like I basically narrowed it down for you, and he handed me the money order. I brought it back to him, and he just kind of, oh yeah, see you later, and just dipped. And I'm like, okay, like I just got scooped for the last day, but it was like I still made money. So one thing that I did off of rock bottom is I straight shake with every single person. I did not sow any darkness on anybody. I did not scoop anybody for any money. I did not scoop anybody for any diagnostics. I did not scoop anybody for anything. It was an honest shake, 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 shake. And you might have some people afterwards that tell you, oh, you know, you scooped me for this, that was too much, this and that, just to have something to say. When realistically, I gave you a really good straight shake. And there's just people out there like that. But if you know it and God knows it that you had a straight shake, then you had a straight shake. And that's just how it is. So when you have straight shakes with people, you don't have any worries in the world about anything. You made a straight shake, you did right by them, they did right by you, everything's good. Now, the problem that I have with what happened was that everybody started screwing people in my town, so the chances are that people are not going to reach out for a mobile guy in this town because of what happened to them with these people, okay? And that's not always the case, but when you have 5, 6 mechanics up there that they all were going around screwing people, and then they go to the next town and they post up and they screw people there, and it's like a professional con business. I was outnumbered with con men here apparently, because that was wild. I'm telling you right now, I straight shaked everybody, and I worked my butt off for it, okay? Like I worked hard for a lot of stuff. There was a lot of jobs that I took that no other mobile guy would take in this area because they were complex. There was people that had cars that nobody really knew what was wrong with them. There was one lady that had a BMW with an EKPS issue, a fuel pump issue, that I diagnosed it, and I replaced an alternator, and I did a whole bunch of stuff to it. And I straight shaked with her, but she ended up buying me Bimmer Geek software just to do it, and I'm basically her personal BMW mechanic now. So I made out with software, but I also have a straight shake with a person that's not only a customer, but she's a very good friend of mine. So like I made very close ties with people that are very good people, okay? And that's it was very heart touching for me to have that, because it's somebody that actually cares about you, you know, where you're like, huh, they trust you, they care about you, and you straight shake, and they know that you'll follow through, you know, they know that you'll follow through with them. So when you come up off a bottom, you need to listen to what God wants you to do, but what are you good at, okay? So I'm going to use an example here, okay? And this is just from me, but you may have some people that don't do mechanic, but they decide that they can paint really well, okay? And this is just personal hobby of mine, but I'm in the middle of doing that poker scene. But people that are good at painting, stuff like that, you can sell your art, you can do this type of thing, you can sell canvas paints, you can sell this, this, and this, you can make money doing what you're good at. What did God put in your path that you're good at that you can do, okay? And if you're sitting around playing video games and doing this and that, you know, streaming your video games, what can you do that can empower you on an individual level, okay? And some people might say I'm really good at Call of Duty, okay? And it's like, well, okay. I mean, Call of Duty is more of a hobby. It's not more of like what you're good at. So maybe you're really good at landscaping, okay? You're a really good landscaper, but I don't have the tools for a weed whacker, lawnmower, this, and that. But I have a DoorDash app. I have a Grubhub. I can go and volunteer, somewhere and get a job somewhere. So for me, getting a job wasn't possible because I was overqualified for pretty much everything I applied for here. Like, I mean, everybody else got job interviews and got jobs before I did. I must have applied for about 50, 100 jobs, dog. I'm telling you, there was a lot of jobs that I applied for, and I didn't get them. And there was a couple of them that I got interviews for, and I was on orientation, and I had panic attacks from, and it was healthcare related. So I went through a lot where I saw a CPR mannequin in the orientation, and it gave me a panic attack because I had seen a lot of those situations play out in a controlled environment, and the traumatic flashbacks of what had happened hit me after I had detached from my career. So in the midst, like, you're in the emergency room and something happens, okay, and it's like second nature that you respond. But then afterwards, you see these CPR mannequins, or you get triggered because you're out of that career. You went through a traumatic rock bottom, and it triggered me where I like froze up and I freaked out, and I had to go sit in the car for about, like, I think it was like an hour before I could even drive home. So there was certain things that happened to me that I hadn't really talked about. So it's really, I went through some hard stuff, man, where I had to look at it and I was like, okay, I can't really hike the ball with a job, but I know I can start doing mobile mechanic again, and that's what I wanted to do anyway. Why did I go to that interview to get another job like that, going into some type of home care thing? Because it was comfortable for me and I could do it for a paycheck, but it wasn't what God wanted me to do. I was far too scarred to go back to that stuff. So when it comes to stuff like that, like my old career, I can't really go back to that stuff. I mean, I could take the money I have now from my business and go back in and make money doing it. But was I happy doing it? I wasn't treated very well, okay? Like, I got treated like crap and I got spit on out the door. So, and which was crappy for me because I contributed a lot. I helped open up a cardiac stress lab. I helped try and stabilize departments the best I could, and I got spit on and treated like crap for it. So for me, it was like, I can't really go back to that. It was a resentment factor there. There was for a bit. So it was like, okay, like, it reminded me of that too. So I had all this darkness that was sown on me that hit me at once when I was in that orientation. So I had hurdles I had to jump over where I was like, okay, I'm going to go here. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm going this way. But I learned something from what I went through, even though I had a traumatic, situation on my hands where I kind of had a little bit of a breakdown from it. It still taught me something where I was like, oh, okay, like, now I'm knowledgeable about that. I'm going to stay away from that. But like, I understand that, like, there was things that I went through my healthcare career that kind of like hit me afterwards that were very traumatic for me, like working trauma ER and ICU stuff like that. It put me in a situation where I can't really go back to that, okay? Like, the situations that happened, that they hit me with all this happened to me, and like, you would have to go through it to understand it, okay? And I think there's a lot of people that do that once they get out of healthcare and they retire or this or that, and then things happen, they freak out, and some people just handle it second nature. Maybe it's just because of how I was spit on the way out that I wasn't too happy about. So it's like, okay, like, it caused me a lot of pain, a lot of problems. Out of rock bottom, okay, I'm getting off topic. Out of rock bottom, I had to know, this is beyond the wisdom situation. When I got wisdom and I got deep in the Word, God opened doors for me, okay? Here, He opened doors for me. That one door that He opened right there was a lesson for me to walk through and go, yeah, no, like, I can't do that. And He wanted me to know that that's not something that I want you to do, and it's not something that, you're not that person anymore, and you're not supposed to walk down that path. You're supposed to do what you're really good at, and I want you to help people. And so I was helping people by, well, look, for example, Mr. Jimmy over here, okay? He's got, his car needs a head gasket. He's got to take it to the shop. It's $2,500, but, I'll do it for $400. You just buy the stuff for it. And it's like, okay, I helped him out. He helped me out. And that was kind of the path I was supposed to go. And I was supposed to sow light on people and not do what other people were just doing, and sow darkness and dip. Because there was a lot of people, and it looked like they had professional businesses up. There was people that had professional businesses up that had the logos and all this, perfectly drawn out, and they tapped on it with ads They screwed people over, made a bad reputation, and they dipped out, bro. They took off to the next town, and they'll spread out and go do it here, 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 here. I've seen it before. I did not expect all of that to hit at once, but there was people on my way up that I had a feeling this was going to happen. And it happened this way. There was one lady, and it was one of my, out of my first 10 customers, it was this lady with a Honda, okay, and her Honda was like, her gauges didn't work. The car like would just like stall, was running like crap, and there was a whole bunch of problems with it, okay, and somebody had done a crankshaft sensor on it, but they forgot to put a keyway in the harmonic balancer area where the timing is. They didn't put the keyway back in. It got lost, and the thing was totally off balance. She had to, keep it in the parking lot. Had to go through all this and figure out what was wrong with it. And what was wrong with it was the keyway was out, but it also had a bad O2 sensor. So I had to replace that. I threw in a tune-up for free, so plugs and valve cover. It was leaking in the spark plugs, like a whole bunch of issues. But this dude scooped her for like $600 to do this crankshaft sensor. And it's really not that hard. As long as you have the harmonic balancer tool and you've got all the tools to do it, it really doesn't take that long. He overcharged the woman highly, okay? And it's because she couldn't move it. It was stuck at her house at the time. And she couldn't take it to a shop. I think she had like low on funds. Some people have some sort of credit issue where they're jammed in a spot where they can't make payments to a shop, that type of thing. So I'm realistic about it. There's a lot of people that I'll do work for that I let them pay me in payments. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to live. Everybody's got paychecks. Like, yeah, pay me in doses. If you don't pay me a second time, well, God will have you for it. It is what it is. God will pay me back through somebody else. It's not a big deal. I had situations on my way back up where I was getting screwed over by people, and I saw it and was like, oh no. Like, it was almost like there were certain people on my way up. There was a woman with a water pump issue that she shorted me. I think it was like maybe like $50 or something like that. And I just knew, I was like, something's not right here. Something bad's gonna happen. Like, it happened for a reason. It was like, maybe that was like your last strike, and things are gonna go wrong. And another lady that I put her car back together that was wrecked, and she shorted me $100 and was like, oh, well, if you want that other half that money, just come knock on my door and just yell at me in my front yard. And it's like, you were kind of just telling me to come back and yell at you so you can call the cops on me. So I just let it go. And I was like, you're kind of out your mind. So I was like, you know what? I let that go, but I was like, the people on my way up off of rock bottom that screwed me, I saw it as though it happened for a reason, that God had warned them multiple times. You need to stop screwing people for cash like what they just did. And it was their last strike. And people that come off of rock bottom, people that screw them off of rock bottom, it's almost like their last chance to do right. Like, it's a repetitive thing that they've done, and they go through stuff for it. And I think a lot of it is like, if you come up really hard, okay, and you go from rock bottom to something big, and say like my mobile business goes to like 3 shops deep in this town, and now they have a reputation of screwing me, and they can't handle that, eating that they can't handle. And I pray for those people where I'm like, that's not going to be fun. But it's probably happened before, okay, where they've gotten screwed on this and this. And I had some weird situations where the people even hit me back for more work after that, and were like, hey, I've got a clutch cable snapped on my car, I need some help. And I'm like, you just shorted me for $100, why would I go and do that? It was almost God like looking at me, looking at that, kind of, I'm scratching my head, and he's going, yeah, don't take it. And it's like, okay, like, I understand, like, I'm not that desperate to get screwed again. We're not playing that game. So it was just one of those things. What I will tell you is the journey from rock bottom to stability and where God wants you to go. God will take you to heights that you did not think you would get to. When you're on rock bottom, you don't see it. You just know the next step, I will just do what God wants me to do and live as righteous as I can, with as much wisdom as I can. Sow no darkness to anyone, sow light to everyone, even if you did it before. I sowed light to everyone before I hit rock bottom. But it's always been important to me to do that. But this time I had invaluable wisdom in me that the Word of God gave me. Okay, God gave me that wisdom. So there was a lot. Okay, rock bottom is a hard thing, but you need to understand that, say you're coming up and you have a landscaping business, and you just did this dude's whole yard, front yard, backyard up, and he owes you like, say, $500. And he gives you the middle finger and tells you to get up off his lawn. That dude, that was his last strike. I'm telling you, it's true. And some people may argue and say, oh, well, they got away with it, this and that. And you're like, you don't know what happened after you left. And from what I've seen, it happened to me in a sequence where I was like, I got screwed, but there was good people that came in after that, and I saw how that was going to play out, and I'm like, ooh, that was that person's last strike, that they've probably done this before to a mechanic here and this and that, and then this happened where, you know, all these people are screwing people for diagnostic money and screwing people for money up front and dipping, and I'm like, okay, like everybody's taking revenge on each other, and I'm not paying you, I'm taking your money, this and that, and I'm the only dude here. It's like, straight shake, I'll get this done. And I'm sure there's other people here that do straight shake. I don't really know. I don't really see many people who really outlast me on there, because I've been through 2 seasons now. Well, actually, technically, I've been through 4 seasons of Mobile Work running ads on this platform, and I have never seen one repeat mechanic on there. They are there one week and they are gone the next. One month they have 18 ads up, the next month they are never to be seen again. Their business, their name, nothing. They ran a con show, they ended up getting paid what they wanted to, and they dipped out. And it happens, okay? And my consistency is what has really proven myself, okay? And I had some stuff in the beginning with Yelp where I had one dude that was sitting behind a camera with his mom that was like an old lady, and I diagnosed an alternator and a battery, and that dude ended up saying I didn't use a multimeter, this, that I did this, that I didn't go and jump his car and this and that, not knowing that I was 5-10 minutes from his house outside of town, that I only got paid $50 for to diagnose his entire car, fuel pump, ignition, all of it, and I did a free tune-up with it. So it's like, I barely charged you anything, and you basically shit on me when I was coming up. And I was looking at that going, dude, you were going to have some serious hell to pay. And Yelp as well. There was some issues with Yelp where I had like 9-10 people that put really good reviews out for me, and they threw it in an unrelevant folder and just put me out there as 1 star. And I'm like, dude, this ain't going to be good. Like, something told me this is going to be on a massive scale where people hit the ground, and I'm like, that's not smart. I don't know if it was demonic or what was going on, but that whole thing with Yelp, I'm like, dude, like, I have 9-10 good reviews, and they're people that have been on there for years that put out a good word for me. I didn't even ask for them to put a review up for me. They all volunteered for it because I got close to them and I was like, hey, you know, I'll keep working for you. And they're like, hey, where can we leave you a review? I'm up on Yelp, I'm up on Facebook, I'm up on here. So they left me a Yelp review, and they threw it in an unrelevant folder, which, imagine how that looks later on when I've got 750 unrelevant freaking reviews in one folder, and they're all 5 stars, and I got one dude that's complaining about something that wasn't even real. It wasn't even, the way he justified it wasn't even real. That's how wild it was for me coming up, and I'm still sitting there with that 1 star. And I sat back and going, you know what, it's gonna end up biting people. You know, when you come up off a bottom and everybody's trying to just hit you with everything, it'll blast them back, and they're going to go through something that's probably a rock bottom. Maybe it's a chain reaction. Maybe it's a chain reaction that's like, okay, that was your last chance, bro. Like, that was your last chance to do right by somebody. And you always sow darkness, and then this dude comes and straight shakes you with light, and you hit him with darkness again, and down the pipe you go, bro. I'm not playing you. I'm not playing you. I think this is how God works with people, where he gives people somebody who regularly screws people, okay? He will send that person your way to sow light by them. They will screw you, and it happened for a reason, but you'll still get blessed through another situation or opportunity, and you'll get paid your money. But you have to go through that. And once you get hit enough times, you're like, oh, okay, go ahead and see what's going to happen to you. Like, if you sow light to me, I sow light to you. We're both blessing each other. But if you sow darkness to me, I'm going to get blessed. You're going to screw me and screw yourself. Don't sow darkness to people ever, okay? Just don't screw people over. Don't sow darkness to people. If you sow darkness to people, it could be God's giving you that one person. It's coming your way. And for some reason, I think that these people, immediately they know. I think they know right after they did it, and some people, I think they know before they do it, where they're like, that's probably the dude that's being sent my way that I'm going to go down the pipe for. And it's like, I don't mean go down the pipe that you're gonna die for it. That's not what I mean. I mean like you're gonna go through like severe financial hardship. You're gonna have things go wrong where you screwed that person and now you need a clutch cable replaced on your car. He's not gonna do it. Every other mechanic in town has screwed everybody for money, and the shop's gonna charge you $700. I would have done it for $100. I would have replaced your clutch cable and had you out of there. That's how wild that is. That's how wild that is, where you're like, okay, you didn't necessarily, you know, go hit rock bottom or do this, but you needed me after that. And I'm not there for you now. You screw me for $100, I'm not fixing your clutch cable. You just told me to show up in your lawn and yell at you to get the money when you're basically going to call the cops on me and you're acting all weird. Meanwhile, the boyfriend of the person comes up to me while I'm working on the car and says, "You sure you know what you're doing?" And I was like looking around like, "Do you know who you want me to fix this, or because your tool bag's right there and you completely destroyed the thing sitting there, there's a hole in your transmission pan, bro." Like, I don't think you understand. Like, what? Who in their right mind comes and says something right there? When that happened, I already kind of knew that person's going to screw me for money and that person's going to need me later, because I already saw it 4 times before I even showed up. And so there was jobs where I got screwed, man. There was people that I did a big job for them, and they like acted like they weren't going to pay me. You're like, "Oh, okay, bye." And I'm like, "Oh, I'll take $600-700 for that, dog." Like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay." Like, don't mess around. What are you doing? Like, it was hard for me. It was hard for me because I saw people. When I was coming up off the bottom, I made friendships where people immediately boom and went the other way, and it was like, okay, well, you just kind of screwed yourself, dog. Like, I don't really know what to say. Like, I straight shaked you. Like, it is what it is, okay? And there's certain people, certain situations that I came off of where I was like, okay, like, I already know that this person is in a lot of financial trouble, okay? And this was an example of a woman that was in serious financial trouble, okay? The first time that she hit me up was for, I believe it was a starter or an alternator on her car. And I think I quoted her like $250 because it was a tough job. Like, you have to sneak the alternator out through the wheel well, bro. Like, it really isn't fun. And she was like, "I only have like $150. I was like, "That's fine. I'll take $150. I wasn't really desperate at the time, but I was like, you know what? I'll do it because I know you need some help. I knew that she needed help, okay? So I took the job, $150, boom, got it done, car runs fine, okay? And it was about 6 months later, 7 months later, the woman hit me up again and was like, "Hey, my engine's knocking. Like, this isn't good, I need you to look at it, this and that." I went and looked at it for free, and I was like, "Okay, I think you've got a bad rod bearing in cylinder 1 or 2, and it could get better if we replace an oil pump to get you along through the season until you start making more money." So I worked for the woman. I charged her $200 to do an oil pump on this car, okay? And I did the oil pump, and it didn't fix the knock. It ran a little bit better, but it didn't fix the knock. And so afterwards, you could tell she was in some distress, where she's like, "You know, I don't got that much money." She actually told me I only got like $50 left till payday. And I was like, you know what? And I went and thought about it, and I was like, huh. So I took that $200 and I tucked one bill, and I went and handed her the other $100 back. I was like, "I want you to have money under you. I don't want you to have any problems. I don't want you to have this, that." And I care for her. That's why, because she's a good person, okay? And so I just decided, I was like, I'm gonna do, what would God want me to do in that situation? Where I'm like, okay, well, I got $500 in my wallet. Like, I ain't really tripping about it, okay? Like, I've got money on me. But this woman, she went out on a whim to try and save this car, and it didn't work. So I'm gonna give you $100 back. I could have taken the $200. All right, see you later, peace out. And boom, off doing my thing. But I had some heart for the woman. So God blessed me for that, in a way where I made a friendship with the woman, where after that she trusted me to do this and that. She ended up scrapping the car and getting a new car. It's just a lot, okay? You'll come across people that need your help, okay? You'll come across people that, some people will screw you, okay? Here's the thing that I had too, is I could have been resentful about being screwed over for that money, okay? For the $100 or for this or for that, okay? And I could have turned around and I could have taken that $200 from that woman and just dipped, oh, I got paid for the job and I'm out of here. And I could have not had compassion for her because I got gypped by that other person. And instead, I still had compassion, where I didn't take that resentment from that situation and take it out on that person and take the money and go. And it taught me a lot about humility, and it taught me a lot about individuals, and it taught me a lot. The person that I helped out, I love her dearly. She's a great person, okay? She plays an important role in society too. So she's been through a lot, and I knew she had been through a lot, and I really care about her. I think she's a great person. She's a loyal customer. She's got a great mind. She's a very smart girl. She's just been through a lot of stuff, like, you know, just like I have. Okay, so she go through rock bottom like I go through rock bottom. So I can feel for her on that level where I'm like, okay, you know, there's something to her path that I understand. Okay, regardless, you so light by people. Could I have taken that extra $100, that $200 total, and walked away and sewn light? Yeah, I could have. I could have walked away and I sewed light to you. I told you, you know, this could save it, $200, yada yada yada. But it was more important to me that that woman didn't just have $50 for groceries, okay? That she had a means for bus money. She had a means, you know, that she wasn't eating top ramen for lunch, you know what I mean? That she's actually able to support herself and not, you know, throwing all this money at a car that's only going to last her so long until it blows a rod and throws it to the block, okay? So there was humility there that I don't think a lot of people really would have understood that unless they went through the book and went through the Bible and figured it out, okay? So there was a level of humility that and humbleness that I had to have, and it didn't even cross my mind to just walk with that 200. It was more of like she gave it to me and I was like, oh, and then right when she told me about the $50, I was like, you're getting half back. Like, it took me 2 days to do it. I worked for 2 days for $100. Was I worried about it? Not really. I got content for it. Like, I have content for these things. So like I ended up getting, mainly what I really wanted was, you know, I'm building a customer base, I'm helping somebody out, but this content that I put on my page could go somewhere. It could be a job that nobody knows how to do, and they end up, the video goes big, and lo and behold, if you look up that job online, nobody's done it. The cars are still out there, they're fading out, but nobody's done that job and put it online. People have talked about it in forums, but they haven't done it online. So God had me do it for a reason, and I knew that that reason was there, and I gave back to her. And it was more than just my compassion. It was that I understood that that's what God wanted me to do. He wanted me to go back, and he wanted me to handle it. Okay, and so God will bring people your way. Okay, God will bring people your way that He wants you to help, even when you're coming off a rock bottom. He will bring you people your way He wants you to help. Okay, and that's all part of it. Okay, that's all part of it. God brought me a lot of people my way that He wanted me to help, okay? And there was a lot of people that I came across in my come up, okay, my off of rock bottom. And there's one specifically that I will talk about. There was one specifically that, and she had money. Her family had money. I knew that they had money. It really wasn't, I could have just taken money from them. But I warranted my work. And it was a woman that I did her brake job, and she started having her calipers sticking, and one of it was because I greased 2 of the pins that were sticking at the time, and the other 2 on the brake calipers were starting to stick, so it was starting to, I could have charged her $100 for a whole nother brake job. I could have. And she even asked me, how much does it cost? I'll do it for free. I already warranted my work. I told you, if you have any problems with your brakes, I'll come back and I'll fix it for free. So I went back there, I greased the 2 pins that were left, which I should have done anyway. The only reason I didn't grease them was because the car wasn't that old, but they were freely moving, so I didn't feel the need to grease the pins in them. So generally I grease pins in every job, okay? But this car was like dang near brand new, bro. Like honestly, it shouldn't have been sticking as soon as it did. And the fact is that they were drilled and slotted rotors. I went back and just, hey, I'll do it for free. And to this day, good friend, straight shake, awesome chick, no problems. Her family is very sweet. They had me come back out there and do an alternator on their truck. Very, 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 very cool people, okay? What do you know? I'm their family mechanic now. So I work for them, and they hire me for dang near anything that goes wrong. She's got, you know, something where she needs a coolant flush on her car. I'm like, okay, buy antifreeze, I'll come back and get it done. How much? $50? All I'm doing is draining the radiator, popping a thermostat, and just, you know, sitting back, kind of just fill it back up, and boom, you're good. Burp it, and I'm gone. Like, it really isn't that big of a deal. So it's something I can fit in between jobs, or I'm not charging you, you know, $300 to get this done. And so a lot of it is like people have to eat, you know. It's like I came off bottom and I was humble, where I wasn't going $600, $500, $400. I wasn't charging people a bunch. I was charging people the appropriate amount for somebody that has been coming off of bottom with their first year of reputation. So a lot of what I did when I came off of bottom with my own personal business is I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to end up doing a tactic, and my tactic was I need to build a customer base off a foundation. And what was that? A good reputation. So I valued my reputation over I did the bag. That's what the other people on that app that posted those ads, robbed people and dipped, they didn't do. They ended up, I'm gonna post this ad, I'm getting this bag, and I'm gone. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you something. There was legitimate mobile mechanic businesses in this town that would set a phone appointment with somebody and accept $100 card payment over the phone, and then claim that they showed up for their appointment and nobody answered the door, and they just pretty much just canceled them off and we don't want nothing to do with you, and they scooped them for $100. That's how wild that game is. So in my walk, I saw that I stuck to my reputation and I played true with everybody, and I watched people get screwed by companies and, you know, individuals that were conning people. Okay, that was the weirdest thing. So I felt like I was showing people this on my last video. Okay, on one of my last videos I was showing, sorry, the cat's tripping out right now, you know, fighting a straw or something. I don't know what she's doing, but you can see, okay, this was deep. About a month ago, at 13 days ago, I was like way down the list, bro. All three of these were way down the list, and now I'm up top at those three. Every single mechanic in this town, I'm not playing you. A lot of people would sit there and go, oh yeah, maybe he's lying, maybe he's this. I'm not joking with you right now. Every single person that was up here, there was a guy with like, his business name was like YNW Automotive or something like that, where he posted like 14 to 20 times to push me down the list to get the job, screw him and dip. And he pushed me all the way down the list and did it, and he's gone in 1 month. 1 month he's there, 1 month he's not. And he had posts from here to the coastline, down south, up north. He posted in every single town, and he ended up scooping people and dipping out. These people that do this, they jump town and town and town, and they do this, and I think they live out their car or something, because I was blown away at how wild it was here, that people were screwing people for money and dipping. Like, it was, especially coming off of rock bottom and not charging people very much, and then seeing how that was going on, I felt really bad for people, and it sucked for me, because I'm like, well, I'm the only dude that's left up there, and it's like, well, are they going to contact me after that? Because now the application has a bad reputation. That is my problem after all that. So my problem after that is that the application has a bad reputation, where people from this town are more hesitant to go through that app to hire me, that they're going to take it to the shop or they're going to sell it or scrap it. So it's like, the darkness that other people sowed, it's affecting me now. Okay, like, am I the only reliable dude up there? Well, right now, because the only other person that's up there is a person that tests hybrid batteries, which is something that people need, by the way. So that person, I've heard good things about them anyway. So I send people who are regulars that do different things. Okay, I had another customer, okay, and this is me going off on a tangent. You want to listen to this, okay? You want to click off my channel? I don't care. I'm just talking, okay? I had another customer that was recommended to me by another customer, or recommended to me by another mechanic, and the mechanic that was doing his brake jobs was he's this dude that does brakes only, okay? And he called me up and was like, hey, like, I need you to go check us out. I'll hire you to do it, you know, just charge him whatever, and yada yada yada. And I charged him like, I think $60, and I drove out of town and I worked on this dude's car, okay? And basically his brakes were like, he did a brake job on his car, but he charged him like $600 all around for the brakes. And I was like, okay, like, first off, like, $200 for me. Like, I do a special where I'm like $100 front, $100 back, and it's my first year, so like my second year special will probably go up to like 150 front, 150 back. Like, I'll raise prices a little bit, okay? I may not. I may keep it at 100. I don't really know. But 600 for all around, and the dude on the phone told me, he goes, I may have left a caliper bolt loose. And I'm like, for $600 all around, you best be sure that you tightened up those calipers. Like, you got to be. And the dude afterwards, he was texting me for another job he wanted me to go do. He was out of town, and he was trying to tell me how to run my business, where he's like, you need to be upcharging parts, you need to be charging more, you need to be doing this. And like, I almost texted him back and was like, I don't know who you think you are telling me how to run my business, but you need to back up, dog. You're the one that's forgetting to tighten caliper bolts on people's cars. Like, what's your deal? Okay. And like, I ain't naming no names, I ain't naming none of that, I ain't naming no businesses. But what happened right after that, okay? He told me how to run my business, and I stayed quiet. I ain't say nothing, okay? I just left it on read, and I set the phone down. And I kind of laughed at it a little bit. The dude took his business down, and he's not working in this town anymore, nowhere to be found. The customer that was hiring him, don't even hire him anymore. After that, the dude hired me to go do a starter in his car. Did the starter in his car runs great. After that, hired me to do spark plugs in his 5.7 Dodge pickup. Got him done. How much? $200. Tip you. $250. Here we go. Cool. So it was like, I told the dude too, I was like, I'm not trying to knock on nobody, but I did tell him about the upcharge on parts. I told him about that. So I don't know who that dude is. And he goes, oh, he's a local here. And I'm like, okay, well, nobody else really seen this dude around. I've done brake jobs with people, and they're like, yeah, we never heard of this guy. So he probably scooped that dude for one job, and then he dipped off the map probably to another town and did the same thing. Or he closed up shop. And he was like, I'm just going to work for the shop or do whatever I'm doing. He probably worked for like Les Schwab or something like that. Or a brake. I'm not saying Les Schwab people screw people. I'm just saying he probably worked for a brake shop. Or he was a brake tech or a lube tech. And he decided to swing a big job on a brake job. And then he was out of there. And it was a couple jobs and he's gone. He was only up there for about 2 months. I have constantly posted at least one time a month. And it's generally 2, where it's my special for brakes and it's my regular automotive post. So I've been consistent with it. I've been reinvesting. So I've outlasted everybody, okay? And that's like, oh, I've outlasted everybody. That's a weird thing to think about, where it's like a year ago today I had the strawberry box, okay? And I went from a strawberry box to maintaining my morale, where I didn't go and scoop people, where I saw people there 1 month and gone and they screwed people. And for an entire year I stayed true. So there was a lot of stuff that I saw where I even thought about it, and I was like, well, the people that ended up screwing these people, they could be headed to rock bottom now. That could have been their last chance to not screw somebody. But it was wild to me to see everything on my climb, where I was like, hold on a second. Like, I watched people screw me for stuff that was like, it's your last chance. And I watched people screw other people. It was like, it's probably your last chance. Like, this is like, it was a ride, dude. It was a ride, and I'm still going through it, but I'm not suffering as much as I was. And thank the Lord for that. Thank God for that I'm not suffering like I was. Because I will tell you, the amount of suffering that I had when I was on bottom, while I was getting wisdom, writing books, and trying to come up on bottom, I don't wish that on anybody, okay? I don't wish that on nobody. Like, that's a really hard thing to go through. It's almost like you either sink or swim with it. Like, it's very scary, okay? It's a very scary thing to go through when you come off of rock bottom and things play out like that. But the malevolence of the world around you dealt to you and that you witness, you're like, thank God I'm walking with God, man. Thank God I got wisdom. Thank God I jumped into the Bible. And I think that's why it's so important that you see, that you dig into the Word when you're on rock bottom, that you figure things out on rock bottom. That when you're on rock bottom, yes, you invest in yourself, but you invest in your mind, you invest in the wisdom, you invest in what you need to do. So I can say, maybe there's people that come off of rock bottom that didn't get to jump into the Word, they didn't get wisdom, they just invested in themselves and took the path that maybe they wanted to go. Maybe their path was different, where they already had the wisdom and they hit rock bottom and it was easier for them. For me, my morale was right, my direction was right, but God was sculpting me for a path that I didn't understand. I don't think anybody else really understood, and it was like, oh, okay, like he's doing this now. And it's like, the amount of suffering I went through with the weight on my back, I'm like, phew, like I don't know if I would particularly want to go through that again, okay? So there's some people that were like, that would say like, okay, like that time of my life, like that, I was alive, and when I was like, I could have died, bro. Like, that's kind of how, like, it could have been worse for me, but it's one of those things where I went through all that and I'm like, I don't think I ever want to go through that again. And I don't ever want to see anybody go through that, because that was really, it was bad, man. Like it was really bad. Okay, it was the amount of weight, the amount of malevolence, the darkness, everything about it, where you're just clinging to God and walking with wisdom. It's like you're thankful to God for it, but you're like, I hope that nobody ever has to go through that. Like that's just, it reminds you of the story of Job in a way, where you're like, this dude suffered a lot, okay? And regardless of how things played out with the story of Job, it just, you feel for Job through that story where he's suffering. He has sores on his body, the clay pots, his friends basically ridiculing him and saying this, this, and this, and saying that he's done something wrong. You know, his own wife basically saying what she said. It's like there's a lot, you know, there's just a lot that you see in the Bible when you go through rock bottom and you go through certain things in life. It's kind of the things that you go through in life that you wish, or that you would rather not ever go through again. It makes you more grateful for the stories, archetypes, and the Word of God that's presented to you. So it's wild, man. But I'm going to do an episode next time. I think I'm going to go over one chapter in Proverbs on my next one. So it's almost 1 in the morning. So I got nothing else for y'all, okay? Lone Wolf. Peace out, yo.